Greetings and welcome to Rant and Rank, the show where we rant about and rank studio albums by various artists. If you've seen it before, you know all of that, and we do it completely in an uncivilized way. With me today, I have the guy who found a sixth golden ticket, but it was a fake, Jason.
Yep.
The guy who made those counterfeit golden tickets, Ed.
That's right.
And we have Joe, who never found any golden tickets, real or counterfeit.
Mine were all
Hey,
bronze.
regardless, we all have to agree that the grandpa laying down for many years, but jumping his ass up when that golden ticket came out, that was some bull crap.
That man has been stretching. He's been waiting for that his whole life.
He could have worked. He could have helped the family, but no.
Yeah.
He was just laying down.
That's depression's a hell of a thing.
That bum.
Yeah. And/or he's a bum. Now, there's a, I don't know which version of it there is, but it's like the 4 grandparents in the same bed, all laying there.
That's the only one I know.
Is it in? Yeah.
That's the Tim Burton one, isn't it?
Is that the Tim Burton one?
I can't
No,
remember.
I'm talking about the one when we were little.
I can't
Are they all
remember,
in
but
the
all
same
4
bed?
of them are in the same bed, and I was like, this is a weird moment.
Anyway, we're here to talk about the band Veruca Salt, not Willy Wonka.
Housekeeping. You're watching a YouTube video. Why don't you subscribe to a YouTube video? Specifically, this one. Subscribe to us. Turn on that notification, the little bell thing. Give us a like. Talk to us. We get lonely too. We don't want to have to be laying in bed like the grandparents from Willy Wonka. See how I'm bringing it back, Jason? There was a point there.
There you go. Tie it all together.
Go join our Patreons. We have 3 tiers. We've got a gold, silver, and bronze, if my memory is correct. A golden ticket will get you the opportunity to pick a band for us to do once a month. So we kind of take a random drawing from our top Patreons. Shout out to So Fucking Rad. Yarbles, you're the man. And, we'll do a video from you. As soon as Yarbles will pick one, by the time this airs, he's going to pick one. Anyway, go join our Patreon. We have an exclusive show called Lost and Found that we do. You get at least 1 video a month if you're silver tier or above. And we have a lot of fun with that. We got something cool planned for our next one. Join us on Discord. Gentlemen, it has been a while since I got to talk to you, except that I've been talking to you in Discord. You could be talking to us in Discord because we're actually pretty active.
Shout out to Irene the Bean.
Irene the Bean. We've had some good conversations there. Okay, so that's all the housekeeping there. This week we are discussing Veruca Salt. So Ed, tell me your relationship with Veruca Salt.
Well, I first heard of Veruca Salt, I think like many people did, at least around my age group. I think I stopped being always at the radio. Seether was such a big hit. Like I remember hearing that first. But one thing that happened after I started to listen to songs from that band is that it introduced me to other female-led bands. Like, you got Hole and L7, Babes in Toyland. Like all those bands. Yeah, all the bands that kind of circulate around that sound. And I also enjoy this researching their discography because honestly, I haven't heard their music in a really long time. So it's kind of like a time capsule for some of it. And there's a lot of history that I learned, especially about the turmoil in the band and people coming and going. And you can tell by the sound of the music too. The people are missing in some. So, anyways, that's how I got into them, and I enjoy them. I think they have a very unique sound nowadays. It didn't used to be unique, but now I think it is.
Jason, how'd you get into it?
Same way. MTV, Seether. They were one of those bands back then.
I vaguely, and let me put an emphasis on vaguely, remember Seether. Besides that, not much for me on Veruca Salt. Like there's a vague memory of seeing the videos, but short of that, never really listened to much of them before until now.
They were the first real concert that I saw. They opened for Bush, and me and Cowboy saw them in Pensacola, and it was kind of funny because we were smoking cigarettes at the time, and um, I kind of wanted a cigarette, but we were indoors, and Cowboy's like, "No, you can't smoke it here." And you could smell people smoking other things around us. And I was
Close.
like, Cowboy, if they're smoking that, I'm smoking a cigarette. So
I remember that theater in Pensacola. I
Pensacola
can't.
Civic Center.
Yep, Pensacola Civic Center, because that's you always smelled cloves in
Yeah.
whenever we were at concerts.
I mean, I was like 17, 16, 17. It was the Razor Blade Suitcase, Eight Arms to Hold You tour. So it was like 97.
Okay.
That was 97 was a good year for music. Good stuff was out during that time.
Yeah, we'll have to play with some years here at some point to jump around and pick bands and things of that nature. But that's then. Let's talk about now. Ed, give me number 5 on our Veruca Salt
right.
tour.
Now this is, and you can tell too, but Resolver, I think it's going to have to be my number 5 because it's just. My understanding is like during this time there really wasn't that many members of the band in the band, and it's just I don't know. This album just did not. After listening to all of them, is the one that I at least connected with. I didn't find any other tracks really all that fun or interesting to listen to. So
Okay. That's a Beatles reference too. It's a play on Revolver.
mm-hmm.
Arthur agrees with you. Jason, what about your number 5?
Arthur is our unofficial 4th member of the. Mine's the same. It's Resolver. I mean, this is basically a Louise solo album. It doesn't have Nina. It doesn't have Steve. It's a very bitter album.
Yeah.
Towards Nina. And ironically, both albums they put out that don't have Nina, this one and 4, within weeks of each other, Nina put out a solo album at the same time. So like they were still. But yeah, this album doesn't do anything for me, I think.
I agree with you. I'm right there with Resolver being number 5. I think there are some songs that are good. I like Born Entertainer. It's definitely a fuck you song, but I like it. I like Officially Dead. That's a good song. I like how it's more of a rocking song in there. I like Born Entertainer. I think that's a good one. But for the most part, this is just kind of a album. I mean, all dressed up, yeah, man. I like when she starts yelling, like the scream she does in Hellraiser, but short of that, that song's not that great.
And Wetsuit to me sounds like her trying to do Stutterbug again. Like it has that same quiet, loud dynamic but it just doesn't hit like Shutterbug does.
And to me, this album is her trying to still be Veruca Salt without Nina.
Yeah.
The whole time, instead of like embracing that I'm a songwriter, I'm a musician, I can do my own thing. I could be way off on that, but that's kind of what it sounded to me. It sounded like a little lost.
Yeah.
Jason, what's number 4 for you?
Well, I mean, no surprise. It's number 4. Now, this one I actually do. The music on this one is really good. Like the opening, So Weird, Centipede, and Innocent are all like pretty strong songs. And again, I support Louise screaming in Innocent. Like I wish she did more of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got a much harder guitar sound than anything they've done before. And the song Closer kind of sounds like a song. It doesn't sound like it's from 2006. It sounds like it's from 1996. It almost sounds like a garbage self-titled song.
And that's their sound though. They're very good at that time capsule. They never lost that. They always kept that. I don't want to say grunge. Just a lot of everything I research, people calling them grunge. I don't think they were grungy. I think they were just hard rock, hard rock women led
Yeah, I mean,
band,
they're just like a damn good rock band.
Yeah.
And
I could see why people say they're grungy. I can see that distortion
Oh yeah.
that they've got in there, but I don't. Sure, they can be grunge or hard rock. I'm okay with either classification with it.
I don't like the term. As I got older, I don't really like the term grunge. But yeah, I mean, this album's, if it were the full band and it had the dual harmonies of Nina and Louise, I think it'd be really strong. But compared to in their discography, it's better than Resolver, but not better than the Nina Louise albums.
Yeah, I'm following suit with you. 4 is my number 4. I do think Louise found her voice much better in this album than Resolver. I think she found a way to be her instead of Veruca Salt and Nina. It isn't like there was a gaping hole here. We made some good songs. Innocent, I love Salt Flat Epic. I think that's a really good song. The Sun, Damage Done, all those are really, really good. I love the line in Damage Done. Check my best friend out. She's burned out, but she's beautiful inside. That's a very I don't know, that time. Well, 2006. To me, that's more of like an Everclearish type lyric.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I like these a lot. I don't really like Circular Trend. That's the one where I'm like, this sounds like a weird bubblegummy, popish type song to me. That just doesn't fit in with what we're doing here.
Another thing is, I mean, it's always Nina and Louise, but their bassist Steve is really good. And I'll talk more about him on the early albums, but you can tell he's not on this album. Like the bass isn't as thudding or as good as the full band, the original band.
Scuba Steve. Ed, what's number 4 for you?
For number 4, I'm actually going to go with Ghost Notes. And the reason for that, at least, it brings back all the members, from what I read from all the turmoil that happened. And it has a great sound. But I think my number 3 has a better sound than this one. So that's really the only. I mean, it's a good album. I really enjoy the comeback here with the Gospel According to Saint Me and Black and Blonde. Those are good. Those are good tracks on here. Laughing in the Sugar Bowl. That I like that one too. They go back to that again. That hard sound, and again, it does sound good, but I prefer the one coming after this one after listening to it.
Okay. That's I don't want to get too surprised or too wild with people, but to me that's a little low for that album. But
just a little bit, just a little bit.
A little lower than I would.
Well, think. No, yeah, but the ones coming up ahead of it, I think those are legit sounding, well written. Anyways, we'll talk about those later. But this one is just, I don't know. Again, I don't really. It's once the time has passed, you know what I mean. That also that sound just became a little. I don't say overdone, but it had its time,
Mm-hmm.
And releasing
the 90s are forever.
Get the T-shirt on whatever T-shirt playing we ever say. Don't miss with Mayberry, and the 90s are forever.
That's right.
All right, so I guess I start number 3. Now, if you've watched our videos before, I have some hot takes.
Oh my God, I don't have my sign.
As a matter of fact, I believe someone once called me Hot Take Joe, which I don't like. I think it's a little too much. I think we should just go with Hot Joe. I think that's my new nickname.
I think we should take Joe off.
I am going to put Arthur. This is my moment, not yours. I am going to put American Thighs at number 3.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. This mother...
Hot Joe here. I think this is a good album. I think this is a really good album. I think that I don't really have a great reason to put this at number 3. Besides, I like the other 2 albums better.
Arthur disagrees with you too. He's like, "Shut up, Joe. Shut up."
Go to bed, Joe.
Yeah, really good first album. I love their voices together. I think the difference between them and the distorted guitar sound in their voices is really cool. But that's cool throughout their career. For that, my highlights are Seether, Spider-Man '79, Twin Star, Wolf. I love all those. Sleeping Where I Want's a really good song also. My low light is really Victoria.
So the whole album, you like the whole
Yeah,
album?
he does that, Ed. He's like, my highlights is the entire album, but
Yeah, it's a
Well, the
good
problem
album,
is I like a lot most of these songs. I think it's a really good album. I don't love most of these songs, but I like most of these songs.
And I think I know what you're getting at too, Joe. Mine is not that low, but I think especially when I heard it, when I heard it, it was you could tell it was the first album.
Yes.
And sometimes you have to be a really big fan to still swallow those first albums.
And, everybody loves Seether, which is a great song. That's what the song you heard.
It sounds great on the radio. By the way.
It sounds really good on the radio. Seether's still really good. And it being like the best song off that album, it kind of sets a bar.
it's not the best song off that album.
It is. You're
But
right.
okay.
It's not. It being the hit off that album sets a bar. It's not the best song off that album. I agree. Because in top songs, you'll hear songs from this album. But
All right,
I
Big
like it.
Sam, Joe is wrong in this video. If you need any heads up in the Discord.
Big Sam, that was it should have been a spoiler beforehand. Still love this album. My top 3 are great albums. Can they move? No, I think American Thighs is firmly where it needs to be. Ed, give me your number 3.
Well, now for number 3, I am going to go with number 4. And again, for my notes, this album, I love the drumming in this album. I think it's very, I don't know, it's just very on top. It's rocking, man. It's got a lot of good jams on here. So Weird. That opening track is good. Then you have the Perfect Love, Closer, Wake Up Dead. I mean, I saw also. I don't know. I think they might have been going through some issues here too, because some of these songs are kind of rough. But
Yeah, she's still pissed at Nina.
Yeah.
still throwing daggers at each other.
and you can tell. But yeah, no, it's a good album. And again, the sound is fantastic. The drumming is probably my favorite one out of these last 3. So.
All right.
Jason, what you got for us?
I'm going to go with Ghost Notes because Ed's not that far wrong, unlike Joe. This album's good. This is Veruca Salt back together. They collaborated more because if you listen to the earlier stuff, you can tell like Louise wrote this, Nina wrote this. This album, they wrote more as a full band, and it kind of shows.
Do you guys know what happened in the band? Because I read they had issues, but nobody said anything. I didn't read about what exactly happened.
I'll send you an interview that's a more recent one with Nina and Louise where they talk about it. Okay. But it's basically over a guy.
Oh, gosh.
They were, they're like, yeah, it's stupid. We fell for the whole stereotypical fighting over a guy thing, but that's kind of what happened.
Oh, okay.
So this album has some amazing B-sides that if they would have put on the album would have made this higher up. But I'll get to that in the top songs. You can hear the Black and Blonde. You can hear Steve's bass again. It's gorgeous. Love You Less is that old school Veruca Salt poppiness. It's really good. Laughing in the Sugar Bowl, that's one you just have to hear. The Led Zeppelin references, the B-52s references, the counting, the ABCs. Like it's a damn fine pop song.
Stole my thunder with that.
The Museum of Broken Relationships is decent. Overall, though, the album's slower. than the next two. But again, I think if they would have picked some better songs that they had at the time for that album, it'd be a lot higher. But it's still an amazing album. Like I'm glad. I remember the first time I heard it when it came out. I was like, oh my god, they're back. Just hearing those two sing together again is
Yes.
Is
magic.
the harmonies, man? Like, and they those two girls can really do it. And it's think about it, it's 2015, and they're still doing that same sound they had in the 90s. I mean, obviously mixing it up and changing it a little, you know, but
Yeah,
it's
I mean it's a more
cool.
mature album compared to
Yeah,
their old
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But I mean, they're moms now. They're they sing about other different things, but
hmm
they're definitely like they're up there with Mark and Tom as far as dueling melodies go.
They sing.
Yeah, I'll put them
It's
up there.
crazy because I don't think their voices are so different in my listen through, but man, they work together so well. Like once you hear them separate, like especially the Weeze albums,
hmm
and then you hear them together, you're like, God, y'all work so well together.
Yeah, and it's especially in that genre of music, I think it's kind of hard to do things like that, you know, because it's not.
I can tell them apart.
Yeah, yeah, and you know, I mean, when you think about how people were shocked by the fact that, you know, Kurt had that about a girl song, you know, and you put these two girls doing something kind of similar, not I don't know, I would say Beatlesque, you know, like you had with Paul McCartney and John Lennon too, you know, like they had their voices
Oh yeah.
melted very well together, you know. I'm sure, that especially in the '90s, that was very like wow, you know, I didn't know.
Oh, they have Beatles references all over. I mean, Eight Arms to Hold You
Oh yeah.
is a Beatles reference.
It's the same motif of the Beatles, like influencing these really hard rock, grungy bands, you know. And it's really cool to see the effect that it had on the '90s. A lot of people don't analyze it that way, I guess, to see how the Beatles affected all this music, but they really did.
It's the pop side, I think, because Veruca Salt's kind of poppy.
Oh yeah,
They're
yeah,
not L7. They're more poppy than punk.
yeah.
But
L7's scary. We saw them live.
yeah, we did see them live.
That was a fun show, though.
Um, where were we at here? Ed, give me your number two.
All right, yeah. For my number two, I am going with Eight Arms to Hold You. Now, this album, I think it's louder once you compare it to the first one that came out. It's very much louder.
Oh yeah.
Very well mixed, produced. I think the songwriting is really, really well. Let's see what I have on my notes here. Hold on one second. Volcano Girls is a great single for this. I think that was one of the ones that came out of this one. But overall, I give this one seriously like a lot of props, especially after coming from that first one. I think most bands a lot of times kind of just blow the second one, but I think they did a really good job of following through, keeping that sound, just making it sound better and louder and just more
Do
in your
you
face.
do you know one reason why it's louder? Do you know who produced it?
Uh-uh.
Bob Rock produced it. Same guy who did Metallica's Black Album.
Oh, I did not know that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
And you can
Yeah.
tell, like, because that
Oh, yeah.
album, the recording is just loud.
Like if you go back to 1997 or whatever, like after listening to the first one, you hear this one, you can tell it's a whole different sound. But I love
Hmm.
this album. This one. I have a lot of these songs in my playlist.
Nice. Jason, what about you?
Well, I'm actually going to go with American Thighs.
Look, how you giving me so much shit at number three? You put number two.
I mean, I'm down to the final two. You put it at three. That's
That's weird.
yeah. I mean, that's just an odd call there. Um, I didn't say I liked every song on my number three, and then still put it at number three.
I didn't
But
say like
anyway,
every song.
this album, it's very dreamy. It's very. I don't know if there was something in the water in Chicago at the time that made these bands like Pumpkins and Veruca Salt sound so like dreamy. This is the best word I can think of. But it's
Is
like the
this
perfect.
Simon's twins time, or is it
No, this
what came
is
before? What's the name of it?
this came out a year before Melancholy.
Melancholy. Okay, so it
Or
was
no,
around that time.
when did Melancholy come out?
I'm looking up a discography right this moment for us.
Yeah, that would make sense. I think Melancholy came out in 95.
95 for
That would
Melancholy. This is
Yeah.
so
Because I'm
that
going to get to that.
was
I got a story about Melancholy and Motel on the top songs. Yeah, Pisces, but that's like a B-side comp type thing, which again sounds more like Siamese Dream. But yeah, their bass player doesn't get enough credit. The bass on this record is phenomenal. 25 is like a slow build up. It's 8 minutes long. But the lyrics, when I was 5, I took a dive. When I was 10, I walked again. When I was 15, I kept my motor clean. When I was 20, I got plenty. When I was 25, that's going to come back later. All Hell Me is a top song. It's that changing from like, you're a little kid and then all of a sudden you're a weird teen, awkward teen, like rebellious, whatever. Spider-Man 79, like Louise writes the best bad relationship songs, and this one's up there with some others coming up.
so Spider-Man 79 kind of worries me
Why?
when I'm listening to it because I'm worried that it's
She writing about you?
no. I'm worried about the truck stop. You lay me in a towel and save me like a lamb. It just kind of sounds. It sounds very like something bad happened.
She was dating this guy. He was a mechanic. He smoked Marlboros. Like there's all these references about him, and she says that like she was like, I just woke up one day. I was like, I realized I'm just so much smarter than him. Why am I with him? Like he was kind of a dick, but
That's good because everything I found was like questionable of those lyrics, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I thought so when I first heard it, but
Forsythia sounds like a Nirvana riff, like musically. I mean, that it sounds like they straight up took from Nirvana, which is fine. I mean, it's great.
that's the one they were looking for in '94, though.
Yeah, that Victrola is about just loving music. That's the name. That's her record player. That was the name of her record player. So, and you know me, I love songs like that. I mean, the music on this one's some of the best. Like this is a top album, but it's just not the top.
That's definitely one I would like that on vinyl too because it has a lot of memorable songs.
That's why this whole discography doing this band made me sad because I thought I had 8 Arms on vinyl and I don't fucking have it. So I was sad. I was like, man.
I have a good story of that in another video where I swore I had a piece of vinyl that I do not have. I was like, I swore I had that. Where is it at? And my wife's like, you don't own that. We don't have that out. Anyway, my number 2 is Ghost Notes. I really now here's the thing. I will give you this caveat. I listened to 2 albums without Nina, and then I listened to Ghost Notes, and I was like, man, this sounds so much better. So it may be ranked a spot higher than it needs to be. But I really enjoy this album. I like how it is a crisper, cleaner album than some of the previous because
it's super clean.
To me, it's much easier to enjoy their vocals and to enjoy the music behind it because it's not as, I don't want to say it's not as dirty, but it's just clean.
Ed's over here tweeting. I just saw it pop up.
The opening, it's just cool to hear them get back together. I'm not saying that the Gospel According to Saint Me is an amazing song. It was just really cool to hear that them back together as an album. Ed may or may not agree with me.
No.
Black and Blonde, I think, is a good song, not a great song.
I think that was one of my favorites.
I love Eyes on You. I love how the guitar starts there. Hopscotch in the driveway after dark. These are the thorns and these are the sharks. Protect your heart. Now, there are a lot of lieds here at the end. They say lied a whole lot at the very end of it. But I really love that song. I love the simplicity of Prince of Wales. I like the lyrics. I like the change in the music. Whenever they say, I remember that girl. Then there's some bass that kicks in at the end. It's great. The sound of leaving is amazing. They do like breathing, dreaming. Laughing in the Sugar Bowl. Love that song. I love it. You stole
Yeah.
my Zeppelin and B-52 references I was going to talk about, but great
See a whole lot
lines.
of love. When I
That
think of
that one
Led
is one.
Zeppelin,
That one is one of the most memorable ones in that album. I think
Yeah.
it's just sound. It's not. I mean, it sounds just like a funner, not like a, one that sticks with you.
Now the lines, they do a couple lines in here that I think could really fit into like dark romances. I don't want to drown if you're not drowning with me, or I don't want to bleed if you're not bleeding with me. I was like, man, that would have fit right in with Punch
that's
Drunk
probably
Love or
Louise.
somebody. Triage, I love. The Museum of Broken Relationships is the one that I'm like not a huge fan of. I don't know why. I don't really care for that sound. Alternica, it has a weird. I'm not saying it's a bad song. There's a weirdness to it that, like, it starts as one song and they get like kind of opery, kind of more flowy. It's good. It's just not, I don't know how about that as a closer, but I do really enjoy this album.
It's a decent comeback album
Yeah.
to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was the same with Soundgarden though. Like he did, remember, I think everybody got on me, but it's cool. Like I don't know. It's just like once that time has passed, it just doesn't sound like much to me, at least, like the original was. And it's normal. Once band members go and do their own thing, they come back together, they're gonna sound differently.
That's true. Soundgarden did have that problem.
Yeah, but it's
This
2015. Like, what else are you going to listen to in 2015? I mean, that sound may have passed on, but it got replaced with a much horrible
Sync
sound.
was around. Hello.
In 2015?
I don't know.
is NSYNC Bye 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 or is that Backstreet? I always get them confused.
That's like early 2000s.
Yeah.
Timberlake already doing his solo thing by
What
2015.
what music was around 2015?
Exactly.
There you go. Ghost Notes.
We need to do decades. So
Yeah. Jason, give me number one.
Man, you gonna let me go first? I'm gonna steal
got
all
to.
your thunder then. I'm gonna go 8 Arms to Hold You. This album is phenomenal. It's louder. Volcano Girls. I don't know, Ed. Did you know the Beatles? Did you catch the Beatles Glass Onion reference?
no.
She says, I told you about the Seether before, the one who's neither or nor. Well, here's another clue, if you please. The Seether's Louise. So it's a little Glass Onion reference.
Okay. That's
Awesome.
clever.
Awesome is a continuation of 25. In the beginning she says goodbye 25. There's something about the pre-chorus to that song that gives me chills, and it's been like, I guess 30 years now, maybe, almost. That it still gives me goosebumps every time I hear that pre-chorus. That One Last Time is a bad relationship song. Again, that's Louise went through a bad breakup on this album, right before this album, with a relatively famous musician named Grohl. He cheated on her with Winona Ryder, allegedly. So there's a lot of Venus Mantrap, a lot of bad guys are bad. With David Bowie, it's just a fun poppy song about, it's kind of like she's in love with David Bowie. She wants to be with him, but also she wants to be David Bowie. She wants to have that rock star, famous lifestyle. I guess I'll save Shutterbug for later because I got a lot to say on that one. But that song is just phenomenal. Stoneface, it's another song about knowing a junkie. When she delivers that line, and when I stand on my head, you never react. I can't get you to crack, not one fucking smile. Earthcrosser is just a gorgeous closer. Like, the whole album is just phenomenal.
And I'm just going to jump right in behind you here. That's obviously my number one. Everything you said is 100% correct. I think Straight's a great opener for it. I think they sound... It's louder, but we also sound like once again, this is not our first album. We're here. We know what we're doing. Volcano Girls is great. Awesome, amazing. One Last Time. Euphoria has just been here, and she's looking terrible. I like the pickup in the music there. David Bowie, I'm falling in love with my Walkman and me with David Bowie. Or I'm falling in love, my Walkman and me with David Bowie. In a Tree, ING. I love that poppiness to it.
ING, you and me.
Benjamin is the only song I'm not in love with on this.
I like Benjamin.
It's just kind of a slow song in the middle of like a lot of loud rocking to me. Shutterbug, amazing. Obviously, love the
You
pictures.
gotta mellow it
views.
out, man.
And it works sometimes and it doesn't others. Benjamin to me doesn't do it. I'm not saying it's like a terrible song. It's just not my. I'm not excited about Benjamin. Sound of the Bell is great. Loneliness is worse. I really like that song.
That sounds like an American Thigh song to me. Like that sounds like
It
a
might have
holdover.
been. I mean, some of the stuff like led into it. I'm sure.
December's All Alone. He's calling me on the phone. I just like a lot of things they're doing there. Stoneface. It's a sad song about someone with addiction and trying to shake them and rattle them. Short sheeting them or standing on their head. No one's really paying attention. Really love the pace of Earthcrosser. So yeah, that's my number one. Ed,
Yeah,
what about you?
When I told Cowboy we were doing Veruca Salt, the first thing he said was "Stay straight for me." It's just a great opener.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna do American Thighs. Now, basically, main reason is because this one is the one I had on CD, and I remember listening to it a lot growing up. And back then, sometimes you left a CD in your CD player in your car for months at a time.
Michael Eddington and Sublime.
Yeah, we all had those moments, and this is one that was stuck in my CD player for a long time. And it has some good tunes. I mean, the Get Back and Seether. I think Seether is probably their biggest hit as a band, is the one that survived all these years. You still hear it on the radio, and it sounds really awesome on the radio too. I think Jason talked about some of these already. Forsythia, that song is like very 90s. And this whole album encapsulates, I think, a lot of like that sound, like Jason said about being up there with the Pumpkins and the 90s and everything going on. I don't, and again, I don't, and everybody I read, they kept calling them grunge, and I don't know, it's something it is hard rock, but something about it in grunge just doesn't, with this
Nowadays,
sound,
I've been on Facebook groups, like grunge Facebook groups, and they've got the Pumpkins in there as grunge, and it's like, what?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, like I said, I think that a lot of those labels we're just blending a lot of things together. I can see them, someone calling them grunge. I don't really necessarily call them hard rock either. I think they're rock, alternative.
They're like pop rock almost.
Yeah.
But their first album is more
heavier,
alternative sounding, like more.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Eight Arms where it's it's just a good rock album.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah, and I did. It just doesn't have any downpours in my view. I think it has just a bunch of good songs, and it was very, very well put together. And the harmonies of these two girls is just you can tell, and this one has a lot.
Oh yeah.
And you can definitely see that they got some. They figured it had something special, and they perfected it a little bit more on the next album. So.
Okay, all right.
I love me some Nina Louise.
Yeah. Ed, give me your closing thoughts while I'm pulling up my outline notes.
Well, closing thought is that girls can rock and kick ass too, and this is a good example of a couple of rocking kick ass girls doing their thing. Women now, and but no, they did. I think they were one of the pioneers, and they really did open doors for a lot of. I mean, I would think like any female-led hard rock, but I say punk rock. It just opened up the doors. People see like, wow, women can do that too, and I think that's special. And again, along with other bands like Hole and everybody else that came along too, in that the whole time. So, but I think they're special for their music and also for opening doors.
Jason?
I think they would have gotten bigger had they stayed together after Eight Arms.
Stupid men, man. I'm telling you, they get in the way.
Hashtag men are the problem.
That's right.
Hashtag 90s are forever. I love this band though.
We gotta make a lot of hashtag shirts.
That's right. I stole that from my wife. She says that.
We'll just put the old drunken discography logo, and then on the back there'll be like 200 hashtags.
Hot Joe will be one of them.
Oh,
My thing with Veruca Salt is, I think they were carrying on. I don't know about busting open doors necessarily or opening doors. I'm saying more of a carrying the torch. But I think it's great. I think they. I'm with you. When they're together, I think they do some magical things. When they're apart, it's okay. It's fine. But when they're together, if they'd have kept going, I think we would have heard a masterpiece.
At that time, we'll probably have to do a Lost and Found on Letters to Cleo, but like that's another one that was amazing. And that dog, like, I don't know why that dog isn't huge. Like everybody should listen to that dog.
What about Letters to Miss Cleo? Call me now.
Call me now.
Oh, do your outro that I wrote for you, Joe. You
Hang
lazy
on.
bum.
I've got a question for both of you. This isn't a new segment; it's just a question. I was thinking of all week. Do you believe? Oh, what's going on with my computer? Everything went black. There we go. Do you believe you would make it through? I hope this is recording, not just my number screen. There we go. Do you believe you would make it through, or how long do you believe you would make it through the first Jurassic Park movie?
Like if we were really there.
Yeah, if you were actually there. So
Dude.
you're the cousin. You're not his grandchildren, but you're the grandchildren. You're like the twice
Like an
removed
extra?
cousin or something.
Like an extra?
Yeah, not an extra, but you're a family member of the little kids.
I'm a survivor, dog. I start cutting dinosaurs. I don't care. Like,
would
I
shank 'em.
would jump up. I would jump on things and just start hacking, bro. That's
Okay,
the kind of
okay.
person.
Yeah, dude. I'd get me one of those rifles. I'd survive because just be running around. Dun, 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 dun.
And plus, I'm brutal too. If I don't know you, dude, bye bye. You know what I mean? Like, it's like
Velociraptor, I don't know you.
See, I think I'm fine, except Velociraptor's the only ones that worry me, and I think that what we're going to do to begin with, because I'm a fatty, I'm going to go get food to begin with, and I'm going to one of those doors that like really lock, and we're just staying behind that. Not the ones where the Velociraptor can slap it.
Well, see, that's why you make friends with people you don't really know. So in case one comes, you can just throw one at them and you run.
Yeah,
It's just how it works.
I don't have to be faster than a dinosaur. I just got to be faster than you.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, so I was thinking of that all week. So that was my fun thing for you. All right, so there you have it. Those are our definitive ranked albums of Veruca Salt by us, your favorite YouTubers. Now, if you think we got it wrong, Big Sam,
Like
I don't talk to me. Talk to Jason. Jason's got it wrong here. If you think that we have it wrong, let us know in the comments below and/or in our Discord. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate every one of you, especially you, Trash Boat. I don't know that name as well as I should.
He changed it to Trash Boat, but he was Taylor.
Okay.
We're gonna give a shout out to Taylor. But then he
Then you
changed his
changed
name
it.
to Trash Boat.
Trash Boat. Much better than Trash Panda.
Oh, wait, he's on Discord?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still Trash
Oh.
Boat at the moment.
All right. So please like, share, subscribe, and tell the Army recruiter that keeps knocking on your door and/or calling you. They need some wholesome entertainment to watch in their downtime. Especially, that going door to door is tiresome. I'm sure they'd love to hear which Veruca Salt album is best. So until we see you next time, stay safe, make good decisions.